Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Sarah here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Ian, and he's selling his Amazon FBA business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Welcome to the show, Ian. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I'm looking forward to talking a bit more about your business. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of this business. So this is an Amazon FBA business in the health and fitness niche, created in August 2017. The average monthly revenue of the business is $18,210, and it has an average of $1,961 per month in net profit, and that is based on a 12-month pricing period. Included in the sale of the business are Seller Central account with 12 SKUs, domain and all site content and files, SOPs, 3PL contracts and relationship, a supplier contract and relationship, and 2 trademarks. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47607 to learn more about the business or to unlock the listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing. Now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's dig into the interview. So, Ian, can you tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Well, I run a bricks and mortar business that I've had for 18 years, and that generates most of its sales leads online and with Google AdWords. And the Amazon algorithm has some similarities to Google in terms of driving traffic. And that crossover has been a great help in growing the e-commerce business that I have.
So Ian, you have, this brick and mortar business that you've been running for 18 years. Can you walk me through how you started this business in FBA?
Well, my colleague runs a health and fitness business in this niche, and the online offerings 3 years ago we felt were inadequate, and our business has filled an obvious need, we felt.
Awesome. Well, so, why did you choose the FBA model? And why do you think FBA is great for those interested in online business?
Well, the FBA model is the only realistic option, I think, in our case. Firstly, Amazon is a go-to platform to source their equipment quickly and with a quality guarantee. Fulfilled by Amazon is preferred to fulfilled by a merchant for us because of the bulky nature of some of our products.
Okay. Well, so moving on here, a little bit of a different subject. Let's talk about, why you're selling the business instead of, say, keeping it and growing it.
Well, I have a bricks and mortars business that now needs my full focus. The e-commerce business is not particularly time-consuming on a day-to-day basis, though product launches certainly take up a little time. But the advantage of buying an existing business is the saving of that time and the building of years of sales history. The Amazon algorithm places great weight on sales history, as I understand.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, would you say there's anything you learned from this business that you would apply to future sites or businesses? Or what did you learn from building this that just seemed to really work for you?
Well, I strongly believe that online sales will only continue to grow its share of all sales, and that third-party sellers on the Amazon platform will also grow as a percentage of Amazon sales in years to come. With the right partner, I would consider starting another FBA business, but that may be some years away. When you have some core products and a brand name that occurs several times in the same niche searches, adding consumables into that product mix is absolutely the right thing to do, and that's something we've done. The Amazon now recognises a growing business in that specialism, and customers searching recognise the brand name and trust it as a major player in that niche. In terms of what didn't work, it's important, I found, to welcome other perspectives in terms of keyword selection, ad strategies, to try and understand 100% of the nuances of sponsored advertising on Amazon is very expensive if you get it wrong. Podcasts and experts are essential, I've found, to listen to in order to make the most of advertising spend.
Oh, that's perfect. That's actually one of my questions down the line, but, maybe since you brought it up, it's better to talk about it now. You're saying that it's essential to be listening to podcasts and kind of getting those right resources. Is there anyone that you listen to in particular that you found just, really helped you while building this business that our listeners might like as well? So that could be podcasts, it could be Facebook communities, YouTubers, anything like that?
Absolutely. The two I found most helpful were Brad Sutton from Helium 10 and Casey Gorse from Viral Launch. And I've met Casey Gorse a couple of times, an extremely nice fellow. And in terms of communities, Jungle Scout, certainly, like I said, Helium 10, Viral Launch. Facebook groups, I've found FBA High Rollers and Scale 4 E-Tail, very useful.
Awesome. Okay, so kind of in the same vein here, thinking about yourself when you had just gotten started, was there anything that you had wished you'd known and might serve as some good advice for our listeners out there?
Well, the breadth and friendliness of the FBA community is quite refreshing, I've found, in this day and age. I'd say absolutely engage with others sooner rather than later, and hopefully your experiences will be similar to mine, and that it's enjoyable as well as useful.
Absolutely. Moving on to, traffic and marketing, let's talk a little bit about that. Talk to me about what you're doing currently in terms of marketing for this business.
Well, there's a website included in the sale that sends traffic to the listing. Other than that, sponsored ads and word of mouth really are the methods used at the moment.
Okay, great. And, just running over some of the details on your listing, I know that there's 2 brands associated with this business. Can you walk me through what that looks like and, explain that maybe for interested buyers?
Okay, well, there's 2 brands. There's the older brand, which is coming up to just 3 years old now, which includes the health and fitness business. There's a second brand, which is a more recent launch, which includes some office products and office consume. And the products have been launched last year and they're showing great promise at the moment. There's great potential for them in that niche for these products.
Perfect. Well, you know what? On that note of potential, let's dig into that a bit more. So, if you were to keep this business, what are some ways that you tried to grow it? Or, what are the sort of major opportunities for growth that you're just really seeing right now?
Well, the website could certainly be improved, and engagement with customers via social media has not been explored at all. The brand would benefit from an email list, and some time spent on this could be well rewarded, I would say, in the long term. Possibly a tighter rein on suppliers would be beneficial, and factory visits to cement relationships would be extremely beneficial and very enjoyable as well, I expect.
Absolutely. Okay, so, we always try to cover both sides of the story. So we've talked about opportunities. What about risks? What would you say are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
There's always the risk that other sellers could enter the niche. We've taken great care to make sure our offerings can't be replicated. The products have a reasonably good margin, and that has partly been attained by securing advantageous duty codes, but the duty can certainly change as US policy changes, but we're well placed to get better duty rates than any of our rivals. The ticket price of some of the SKUs can lead to higher expectations from customers, and occasionally we had some unfair reviews, but that also applies to our rival products. And so the star ratings that we have on a level with rival products.
Okay, great answer. So can you describe the amount and type of work you do on this business for maintenance? I think you are running this business, with only about 4 hours of work a week, right? It's pretty passive and hands-off.
Yeah, it's probably about 4 hours, I would say. And that includes reordering and contact with suppliers and the third-party warehouse. But again, if a buyer was to launch new products, that would certainly involve some time investment.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's definitely good to know that you've gotten it to a place where it's still running without a huge time commitment. And, I think that gives buyers certainly some comfort as well. Mm-hmm. What would you say there's any skills or requirements for someone not familiar with this niche or business model?
Well, quite certainly, familiarity with driving sales is preferable. Being comfortable with figures is essential. That's the core of what you're doing, I believe. If there's an aspect that a prospective buyer is uncomfortable with, this can now be outsourced fairly reasonable cost, and I would certainly be happy to help with that process. Some of my colleagues have done that very successfully.
Absolutely. Just a couple, wrap-up questions for you here. Can we talk about how much support you're offering buyers?
Yes. To an agreed length of time, as much email support as you'd like. I can do Skype calls if that's what's required as well.
Great. Would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes, I've no problem with that at all.
Great. Okay, so we already talked a little bit about communities and resources. A little bit more on that question. Would you say there's any software or tools that really helped you while running this business? I think I'm remembering you did mention like Jungle Scout and Helium 10, but anything else that might be on your mind you'd want to share?
Particularly the 3 I have mentioned, actually, Jungle Scout, Helium 10, Viral Launch. Different specialities, those 3 softwares at different times I've found, certainly. The best one at present for an ongoing business, I would certainly say, is Helium 10. And the Facebook groups I mentioned, FBA High Rollers and Scale for Retail, very good.
Great. Now, thank you for that. We definitely have a lot of people write in asking about all these resources that people mentioned. I think people are really taking notes on it. So it's good that you're giving your 2 cents on that. So on a personal note, what would you say drove you and motivated you while having this business?
I'd say I'm quite a competitive person. So I quickly found peers at a similar stage growing their own FBA businesses, and sharing information with them was one advantage. But healthy competition is a motivating force for me as well.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, this is one of my last questions, and it's definitely one of my favorite ones. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Well, within 3 years, the brand has cemented a strong presence in its niche and under most search terms is quite dominant on the front page. Notwithstanding this, great scope to improve engagement with a specialised customer base and, of course, expand the product range as well.
Awesome. Well, Ian, this has been a great conversation. I've loved hearing a bit more about your business. Is there anything else that I might have missed in this conversation that you'd want to share before we sign off?
No, I think we've covered everything I wanted to say about it. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for giving me some of your time today. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how things play out for you.
Thank you very much. I hope there's some interest for the business.
Absolutely. All right. For everyone out there, thanks for tuning in. To check out more details on this business or to unlock the listing, visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47607. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. By unlocking the listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about the business and can start your due diligence. Until next time.